Awesome. So I'm going to now uh, show you a small PPT which I put in. And can you also see my screen? It says Hello Crystallians. Awesome. All right. Okay. So, Hello Crystallians. Uh, so the subline is towards 100% mindfit, and that's what you're looking at. So let me start with some of my thoughts, what we have, and also the agenda, what we have for the day. As I have given in the mail, we are looking at explaining a little about sales cards and about the three shifts brochure, and if possible, we'll also deal with something else as well. So let me move. I just want to reiterate this on what's one difference between our team, that is we, all of us, and other sales team. That one difference we already kind of spoke, discussed, highlighted, and we all kind of gave an affirmative yes. And that difference is today you and I are here for one reason, and that one reason is we all know we always consider the child as first. Uh, Whether we are waiting in front of the school, we are waiting for us to meet the principal, or we are taking the cart out and doing certain things, or we are traveling, say, 30 kilometers to meet a school, or we are trying to look at how do we meet the decision maker. Remember, all these endeavors, all these actions you're doing is for one thing, which is the child first. Uh, just by remembering that we all work with this motto of the child first, our vision becomes broadened, and even some of the field challenges what we have seems to be very small, tiny. When you look at that, we are going to actually liberate 1,000 kids in a school through launching think rooms in that school. So that is kind of will motivate us, and will actually make us super determined in what we need to accomplish. So I'm sure many of you would have a lot of mental models. After the Learn Shop, we have lots of categories of schools. It could be we invited, then registered, not registered, participated, not participated, appointment given, etc., etc. So I'm going to kind of show you what, according to me, could be the category of schools, and this is lens one. The lens one category is this is what is, according to me, is lens one. So let's take your territory, a territory which is assigned to you. It could be part of Bangalore, part of Hyderabad, or like what Bala has, the entire Trichy, or what Rajiv has as entire Gujarat or whatever. So your territory, and if you look at your territory, uh, based on the venue of the Learn Shop, there could be two broad categories. One is Learn Shop registered, and schools which have not registered for the Learn Shop. Schools which have not registered for the Learn Shop could be either in the Learn Shop territory or non-Learn Shop territory. Under this Learn Shop registered, we will have this thing of participated and not participated. That means you would have gone and invited, the principal would have shown a lot of interest, and the principal would have registered, but unfortunately she has not participated. And we find at the organization level, uh, the if we have 100 registrations, the actual participation target is only 40%. So that means if there are 100 principals registering for the event, uh, our statistics show that only 40 of them actually attend. So that means you and I know that we have more number of schools who have registered and non-participated rather than schools who have registered and participated. And on the Learn Shop not registered category, of course, we have Learn Shop territory itself and non-Learn Shop territory itself. For example, you know that probably you would have identified a super duper leader school in your Learn Shop territory, and you would have tried probably a couple of times, three times, but still you wouldn't have probably made inroads to register the principal or the decision maker. So this is one way of looking at lens of your territory, and look at Learn Shop, and look at registered, not registered, participate, not participate, etc. So I was thinking that can we reorient ourselves in a different way? can you look at another lens by which you can look at the schools? So my view was, so move this lens one and consider the next lens. That is lens two, the way I look at schools. Again, you have your territory. And I was wondering whether you should have broadly these two categories. Under your territory, look at schools which have participated. Schools which have participated in the Learn Shop is one category, and schools which have not participated as another category. Uh, when I say schools not participated, it could be schools in the same Learn Shop territory, in non-Learn Shop territory, etc., etc. So, can you look at schools when you are stepping into a territory, when you're looking at a visit plan, when you're looking at a schools? Uh, can you look at schools which have participated and non-participated? The reasons are many for this. One of the most important reason is, even if a school has participated and not given an appointment, they would have still got the rethinking assessment kit. And what we see is, even if the schools have not given appointment, they are still giving the student sample reports and the facilitator report to us. So the advantage what I see is, when you kind of demarcate this as participated, non-participated, under participated category you will have probably missigning schools, also CBSE and ICSE, and in non-participated schools you will again have missigning CBSE, ICSE, and new schools discovered. So I'm taking new schools discovered as non-participated because, even if it is in a Learn Shop territory, since you have not discovered the school before the Learn Shop, it would still be new schools discovered. Uh, why am I recommending this distinction? I'm recommending this distinction because, as you know, that our entire Think Room campaign is revolving around CBSE, ICSE schools, and of course mis-signing schools. And we have seen the last 4 5 campaigns, 60 to 70% of a contribution of a revenue would be from CBSE schools. So from that perspective, can we look at CBSE and ICSE this way? Moving on to the next slide, I'm trying to reiterate why lens 2 itself. If you take the category of participated schools, schools who have actually made to the Learn Shop and sat through the presentation of Chitra, Ramesh, or myself, or whatever, if you look at these participated schools, one point of concern what we have, which I think we have seen it across the territories, is there are a lot of schools who have actually given appointments but not honoring appointments. We see this as a trend. Uh, so this trend is not specific to your territory or specific to any person. It is happening all across. It perhaps reflects that that school as an ecosystem might not have an organized schedule of honoring appointments. You had several interesting stories on how people kind of made them to relook at the appointment and give another time. I'm sure, for each one of you, if a school has given an appointment after participating in the Learn Shop, they might postpone the meeting, but definitely they will not deny you the meeting. So, and we have not come across a single instance where a school has attended the Learn Shop, given an appointment date, but refused to meet. In fact, there are some nice anecdotes where the schools kind of apologized when we went and landed up in the school, saying that, "Ma'am, you have given me an appointment on 10th November, and you were supposed to meet me at 11:30." And the schools have apologized and said, "I'm sorry, I completely forgot," and they have given another date, and schools have invariably honored the next date. In fact, just to highlight, if I'm right, the first school which is signed by Satish went there on the prior appointment date, but that school completely forgot. But they gave another date, and Satish finally, you know what happened? Satish finally signed that school. So I'm sure all we need is be polite yet persistent and say that, please give us a definite appointment so that you don't skip the next appointment time. The other reason which I see also is, uh, uh, I've been having some informal chat with with our guys, with the team, both the TMs, TLs, and the ASPs, and there's a clear indicator that uh, there is a clear difference in receptivity in while we go. So if you look at schools who have participated in the Learn Shop, irrespective of whether they have given an appointment or not, there's a clear perceptible difference by the way they actually welcome our guys into their rooms. And we also find that the moment you get an opportunity to present Think Room to them, many of us have also found that there's a very engaging participation by the principal. I guess it's because, to my mind, the first half of the Learn Shop on the three shifts on assessment and rethink assessment has actually taken Chrysalis to a completely different level. And out of all the 13, 14 Learn Shops which you have done so far, we have not had a single contrary point raised by any principal. And we've had some fantastic school leaders who have come in, and I've seen that many of them quietly acknowledge, nod their heads, or even take notes. And after the event is over, they come and say that it's a very very thought provoking session. And if you have missed it, you can also find this in our backdrop. What we have for Learn Shop, I think there are some fantastic comments returned by school leaders and principals in this. So I find that the moment a principal, a school leader participates in a Think Room in a Learn Shop event, the receptivity for receiving us and also the participation in the Think Room presentation is fantastic. So this also gives us an idea and a thought that that how do we improve our conversion percentage from registration to participation. I think that's a constant struggle, constant battle. We'll be at it, and let's see whether we can do some small innovations by which we can actually improve the registrations to participation in the Learn Shops. And since there's an engaging participation, since there are a lot of questions asked, since the principal is asking and throwing open and confessing that these are some of the challenges what we face in our school, and they are in fact articulating that how will Think Room solve some of the challenges what we have. The RFP what we are generating from the participated school seems to be in a solid grounding, in the sense from a mental journey point of view. The principal has listened to some amazing thoughts in the Learn Shop, and principal has kind of rekindled her passion on education and the role what she's supposed to play. And the moment you go and present things, the principal is actually school is opening up and also stating some of the challenges, and hence the RFP is on a solid grounding. Uh, the way I see a difference is, uh, perhaps in the previous campaign or in the previous presentations, we could have gone there, we would have shown the video, and we would have probably used the cards and other collaterals what we had. And probably without a conversation, the principal would have probably asked, okay, what next? Can you send me a proposal? Or we ourselves would have actually stretched the RFP and asked for a, ma'am, can you please fill this up so that I can generate a proposal? The difference which I see is, now with schools at least who have participated, they listen, they engage in a conversation, and there's a nice little chat which happens, and the result of this nice little chat is actually is converting into an RFP. This is what I see. And to me, one common ground is with both participated and non-participated schools. It's going to be CBSE and ICC coverage. We will never ever lose sight of of covering CBSE and ICC coverage, and of course, miss signing. I know, and this is what even the managers were talking about when we had a meeting. We had a 2 days meeting with all the TMs, and they were also kind of saying that we kind of lost little focus on miss signing because all of us were eager, enthusiastic, and determined to get maximum participants for Learn Shop. Since we have all kind of finished one round of Learn Shops across the cities, uh, I'm sure you guys will be planning, and I also re-insist and reiterate that let's get the missigning schools meeting done as ASAP across your territory, and these are the people who will actually, there is a probability of they signing and making all of us happy towards the 1,000 kids in that school. So I would request you and recommend you to plan your visit update plan in such a way that you cover all the missing schools within a defined period. It could be 15 days, it could be 20 days, or whatever, but start focusing on the missing schools. And of course, the third category is leader schools in a territory. Yes, it's difficult, uh, but we have found one amazing trend which we have seen in Learn Shop, be it Hyderabad, be it Visakhapatnam, be it Nagpur or Bangalore or Chennai, for example. I think all you guys have done a fantastic job of of making the gates disappear and talking some sweet words to the receptionist, showing the rethinking puzzle invitation, and getting the leader schools registered for this event. That's an awesome spirit what you guys have shown. Keep at that, and I'm sure it's just a question of who's more determined. Is the school more determined to chase you away, or are you more determined to anyway crack the school? So it's a battle between two determinations. So I leave it to you. If you set your eyes on getting one of the best leader schools in your territory, go at it. Go to their website, find out what is being mentioned, look at some connections, and the best way to also look at it is, if you have some friendly principals, point at this leader school and ask for referral and say whether they can put you on to the principal, etc., etc. I'm sure you will have lot many ways. If you have any suggestions also, please feel free that we can circulate to all of them and see how do we crack these leader schools. So now let me straight go into the three shifts brochure. I'm sure all of you would have got the three shifts brochure. I'm not sure whether Rajiv got it, because there was a conversation between Rajiv and Yasser that he has not got it yet. Rajiv, if you've not got it, please be patient. I think you should get it by tomorrow or day after. I thought I'll just take you through this three shifts brochure on the purpose and how do we use it. To my mind, this brochure could be used for participated schools. So let's assume that, as I said, I'm wearing this lens too, where I don't really kind of kind of be concerned whether this school has given a appointment or not appointment. The moment a school has participated, I think it's our endeavor to go and meet every participated school. So in participated schools, you can seamlessly start. You can continue the conversation we had from the Learn Shop. So the typical conversation, ma'am, could be, ma'am, I'm sure you would have enjoyed the 2.5 hour session on rethink assessment. And here is a snapshot of the three shifts what Chitra was talking about, or what Ganesh was talking about. Three shifts which we actually highlighted in the entire Learn Shop. Do that, and for non-participated schools, it could be used to open a school. What do you mean by open a school? Uh, we will be sending you a, a, a collage of all the press releases which you got, a collage of all the press releases we got. uh, it's not for distributing to them. I don't recommend you to distribute these media clippings, but keep it with you. And the moment you go to a receptionist and say that, let's assume that, I'm just thinking a lot about a category, a school which has registered for the Learn Show but not participated. You walk in and you tell the school, you tell the receptionist that, you know that Mrs. Satyavati has actually registered for the Learn Shop, and I'm here to update her on what happened in the Learn Shop, because she missed attending the Learn Shop, and she probably asked me to come and give her a synopsis of this, what happened in the reassessment Learn Shop. The moment you say this reassessment Learn Shop and not for a presentation, etc., most likely the receptionist would actually want to take the card in and tell the principal that, ma'am, it seems you have missed the Learn Shop conducted by Chrysalis. So Satish has come there to update you on the rethinking assessment itself. So that's a way we can look at in a participated, I mean non-participated but registered schools. And schools where they are not even registered, you can actually use the same thing of opening a school, where you can say that, we've had Learn Shops across the cities and we have excellent media coverage, and I'm here to update, from a very high educational point of view, what are the three shifts of assessment in the future. So I might just take 7 minutes of time of the principal to update on the Learn Shop. So to open a school, to give an overview of a Learn Shop, and we've already done this 4-minute video. So we have recorded the entire Learn Shop in Hyderabad, and it took a lot of time because a lot of versioning which happened, and we have now come out with a uh, 4-minute video which actually kind of encapsulates what happened in the video in the Learn Shop. It's come out very well, and even in this 4-minute video, uh, the 3 shifts are being highlighted. So it's a 4-minute video, and as I've said, you will get the link today for sure. So it's already there in my inbox. After this webinar is over, I'll send it to you guys. So you can show the brochure, and you can also show the 4-minute video. Uh, to my mind, the link in both the categories. What I mean by both the categories is participated schools and non-participated schools is, ma'am, sir, I would like to explain how the assessment is integrated in your Think Room program, and that's how we can probably move from the Learn Shop and 3 shifts to our Think Room program. So I'm sure if you have some doubts, just park the doubts. In the next slide, I'll actually take you through the 3 shifts brochure itself, and then we'll go through that. So if you look at the 3 shifts, the opening cover says 3 shifts that will shape the future of assessment. It's very important that we highlight the word shape the future of assessment. The moment there's a big difference between saying 3 shifts in assessment and saying 3 shifts that will actually shape the future of assessment. I'm saying this in the backdrop that we know that CC has not been really taken well, and principals and other things are actually hoping that CC will be scrapped, and there's a lot of uncertainty on what the boards or what the new education policy or what the CBSE is going to talk about assessment. In that perspective, when you say with a very emphatic tone that, ma'am, I'm here to discuss about 3 shifts that is actually going to shape the future of assessment, it means the 3 shifts what you're talking about today might be there in your school tomorrow, day after, or it can even become a mandate by the boards in near future. The moment you say that, there will be an attention span. A principal would want to see what is 3 shifts all about. So that's page 1. And in the page 2, what we have on the left side is the purpose of assessment. And we have actually put in the 3 shifts as 1, 2, 3. And we have on the left side, we have now what is currently happening in the education system and the shift. So one word of caution here is, when you're talking about this now, please don't by a chance say that, ma'am, probably this is what is happening in your school now. Don't say that. You relay back on the survey which you have done, and you say that, ma'am, what we have found in the 123 schools, what we have done an authentic assessment research, in many of the schools in the 123, what we find now is assessment is a goal of learning. Assessment is a goal of learning is that, why do people actually learn? Because the ecosystem believes that ultimately we need to assess, and that's why we are learning, or what we call it as teaching to test. The school system, the teachers, the students, everybody looks at that, I need to learn this or I need to teach this because I will be tested or I need to test my students. So what we are saying, the shift number 1 is, can we move from teaching to test to assessment is a means to improve learning. Assessment is not an end objective. Assessment is not a result. Assessment is always an indicator and an evidence of how do we improve the learning. So that means from a teacher's perspective, it is when I do an assessment, whether it can be formative, summative, continuous, whatever, comprehensive, always the objective should be, by doing this assessment, how do we ensure that students have better learning opportunities? So we are trying to move from teaching to test to testing to teach. The second shift is formative assessment, where we say that current practices, what we have seen in 123 schools, almost in all 123 schools, is formative assessments is always announced. That means it is known to the students and it's periodic. So the moment the formative assessment is announced and periodic, the very purpose of why CC is introduced, of reducing the stress levels, is completely defeated. Students have to prepare, parents have to teach, students have to be stressed, students have to revise, whole lot of things. So we are saying that from now, in the formative assessment, we say we shift to formative assessment happens as part of classroom learning without children knowing they are being assessed. So in the sense, what you're looking at is that the shift is, can we make formative assessment invisible for the students and make a continuous process in the learning which happens in the think room. So that's a shift on the formative assessment. And the third is, uh, in the formative assessment itself is, uh, current practices are that when you ask a teacher on what are you going to teach, or when you ask a teacher what are you going to assess the students on, always what comes is topic. I'm going to teach photosynthesis, or I'm going to have an assessment on photosynthesis, or I'm going to talk about linear equations, etc., etc. So, and the shift what is happening is assessment should be outcome based. So it's not topic based but outcome based. uh, in fact, I just want to quote here. I had been to a education conference which happened at Isha Convention Center in Coimbatore. It was a conference conducted by Isha, and Minister of HRD Pramod Javadkar was the chief guest. So he was actually addressing, and he said that I was actually laughing to myself. I was smiling to myself, but I was also very very happy that he said this. He said that I'm going to bring in another fantastic reform in the education process. And he said the reform is, I'm going to put, I'm going to ask NCRT and other boards to say what are the learning outcomes for every class. And that's what Mr. Pramod Javadkar is saying as a biggest reform, what he's going to put as new education policy. So I actually patted myself and said that you're now talking about now the country started talking about learning outcome, but we are already step ahead. We are not only talking about learning outcome for the entire curriculum, we are also talking about how assessment should be mapped to learning outcome. So these are the three shifts which we have. And on the back side, we have we say that authentic assessment, most in-depth assessment research in India, where you say quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis, and we also have a diverse panel of experts. So you can also, I would suggest you spend some time on who is Jacob Taro. He is an assessment specialist, and Seema Jarat is a principal and a master trainer. Meeta Sengupta, what is she? Raghavan, etc., and our partner Wipro. So the other way of also looking at this, you can even start with this before you actually explain the three shifts. So that means you show side number one, then you show this back of the card saying this is a kind of quantitative analysis, quality analysis we have done and the panel, and then open the three shifts. Uh, I will pause here and are there any questions on these three shifts? Are there any questions? Please type out the questions if you have any questions on these three shifts. Okay. Uh, Okay, somebody who's registered as Easy Vidya, he's asking what's FGD. Okay, FGD is focus group discussion. Focus group discussion is FGD. Okay, let me briefly explain what is FGD is all about. Um, okay, let's assume that we all huddle for a discussion on our SP team itself, on SP team, and let's assume that I invite five of you onto a round table, and we let's assume that I'm initiating a focus group discussion. On this focus group discussion, we look at focusing on a specific challenge point, etc., and we have a group discussion. For example, let's assume that we say that hey guys, look, there's been an issue on opening a leader school in a territory. So the challenge is we are not able to open the leader school in a territory. Now, can you all put your heads together and see how do we do this? Somebody might say that no, we can do an email. Somebody might say actually no, you should go to the website and look at other coordinators. Can we start with the coordinator? Somebody might say that actually the DM's name is mentioned. So can we look at on the LinkedIn on DM and try establishing a connection? So when we start brainstorming and talking towards a certain specific objective, that's called an FGD. So what we have done in FGD is on a qualitative analysis, we will have certain open-ended questions, and we will trigger some thoughts in the teachers, and we'll capture their thoughts, their attitude, their dispositions, etc. That's a focus group discussion. Okay, Satya is asking, these three shifts, should it convey that the schools that we are implementing a radical method that will replace their existing ones? Satya, that's a tricky thing, because that will be very presumptuous for us to say that we are replacing their existing ones, because we simply don't have a clue of what are the assessment practices they do. So I would suggest that instead of we getting into a discussion and a debate and comparing and contrasting their assessment practice and our assessment shifts, what you're talking about, if you can maintain an emphatic tone that this is what is going to shape the assessment in the future, and then quickly move on to our objective of getting to think room. So I would not suggest that it will replace, we saying that it will replace the existing ones. I think it's best left for the principal or the school leader to reflect on what they're doing against these three shifts. And this is exactly what we did in learn shops as well. We didn't really point out to them and say that this is what we have done. If there are no more questions, I think I will. Okay. That easy video was Satish. So Satish, I hope I have answered your question on FGD. Okay. If there are no more questions, I'll move on. So now, for me, I have just put in some thoughts on what could be the recommended presentation flow. Again, I'm wearing that. I'm considering this lens too, where we have participated schools and non-participated schools, and I think it will hold good. This presentation flow will hold good for both the categories. To me, the first thing is show the think room video. I am a big fan of this think room video, and I think there's a mixed opinion with the team on. Sir, no, they've already seen the video, and I don't think they would want to see it again, or they remember most of the things in the think room video, etc., etc. But I would beg to differ. Um, to my mind, even if they have seen the think room video, for example, if you have to close your eyes and recollect what is there in a think room video, I'm sure you yourself, after presenting for million times, you might actually miss out some key points. So from that perspective, a principal is kind of bombarded with so many presentations, so many videos. She herself will be checking on YouTube, on education, etc., etc. So most probably, she might not remember the entire think room video. Point number one. Point number two is, I'm sure this has happened even with you as well. When you saw when you saw the think room video first time, you were completely absorbed in what is happening in the video. Uh, Perhaps your mind was not really articulating and looking at questions and doubts. I think the same thing will happen to the principal as well. The moment you show the think room video the second time, if the principal is pretty familiar, then you can actually move her to a conversation and looking at starting some questions, etc. So from that perspective, it's good to start with the think room video. If the principal says no, I'm already familiar with this, then you know what to do. Start a conversation. And while you're showing the think room video, observe where the prospect is showing interest, and silently map it to the sales cards. So I've seen many of your guys have actually done this. When there are, say, 2-3 people sitting and watching the video, the moment, let's say, we are talking about think room participation or a CPD, you would have seen the principal and the vice principal nodding at each other or looking at each other, and immediately our smart ASP would actually pull out a CPD card and keep it ready, and he knows that that is a opening starting conversation with that bunch of principals. So um, when you're showing this think room video, it is for 10 minutes now. That's a great observation time. You can look around for what are the evidences you have, and also look at certain expressions. Even a simple thing of a principal leaning towards your laptop or moving back from your laptop is also an indicator of what she might be interested or what she's not really interested on. The other alternate, which we kind of revisited during the campaign, is if you think that the principal is kind of getting distracted, the principal is getting a lot of phone calls, or the principal is not really showing a lot of interesting responses, please feel free, pause the video and pick the relevant card and start a conversation. For example, one of my personal favorites here is uh, uh, I leave the think room video to go for a while, and the moment the learning ambience come, I think that's a brilliant place to actually pause and show the learning ambience and paint a picture of, if we have to do this in a think room, then what are the other elements which are connected to make this learning ambience a huge success in a think room. Then comes the other phases of thinking and CPD, etc. If the prospect has already seen the video, and assuming that the principal is saying, no, 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 I've already seen it. Yeah, I remember everything. You showed 4 facets, you showed learning ambience, you showed on the transformation, etc., etc. So now let's tell me what is new. The moment they say this, then start the conversation with one of the component of think room. In the sense, the component is what is reflected as a sales card. For example, it could be CPD or it could be transformation, etc., etc. Start with this and explain the think room through the sales cards. I'll come to the sales card little after some time, but explain. So what we are assuming here is, after a prospect sees the video, or if the prospect says that I've already seen the video, then the cards becomes your conversation. The cards becomes your engagement tool with the principal. The card becomes a platform in which you can probably probe a little and find out, can I spot some challenges in the school? Can I spot some concerns what they have? Can I spot, did they have a bad experience previously, etc., etc. So please kind of rewire yourself that the sales cards is not only for communicating or highlighting certain components of think rooms. The sales card could also be used to start a very engaging conversation and start listening to some of the perceptions, some of the opinions, some of the challenges what the principals have had. And if necessary, after that, pull out my studio or framework, any of the studio or the framework which you have, and the binder, and the binder should be reaching you another probably 5 to 6 days from now on. We have already designed the binder, and there are some interesting components what we have put in the binder also. And this binder has student responses as well, and it's already gone for printing, and you should be you guys should be getting it, say, probably in 5 6 days time. And what next? It's a RFP. uh, so to me, in my personal experience of generating RFP, um, I think it's a good idea that after you show a video presentation, after you show the think room video and have a conversation with the sales cards, then pause for a while and probably ask the principal on, ma'am, what do you think would be the next step, or ask him that, are there any other concerns you have, or are there anything else which you want me to highlight, etc., and then take an RFP. I've also seen this, that in many a times, uh, when you look at RFP as an end objective, we seem to be rushing towards generating RFP rather than having a conversation. So I just want you to guys to reflect and pause and say that, is there a logical, seamless progression from think room video to cards to a conversation to an RFP? And remember, in RFP, there are two sides on RFP. I'm sure you guys are already familiar with, and there are some veterans who have generated 15 RFPs, etc. One of the biggest insight gathering this time in the RFP is the sequence what we have in the second side, where we ask, when would you want to kind of decide on think room, and we also ask when is the budget planning month. The moment they say that, yes, I would like to decide on think room before the budget planning month, we know that we are in the right direction. In case, let's assume a principal is saying that, I would like to decide on think room by March, but wherein my budget planning month is December, you know there's something amiss. We have not communicated properly, and we need to rewire and see that, ma'am, you have to look at concluding on think room before you plan your budget, so that if there is an extra investments, or if you have to planning to pass on certain cost to the students, then it will be helpful for you to integrate that in your budget plans. I'll pause here. Are there any doubts on RFP? Are there any doubts, any concern, challenge you guys had on the RFP? Okay. Okay. Somebody says waiting for name. Many challenge we have, sir. So whoever it is, this waiting for name. Can you? Okay, Vijay. Hi. Uh, Vijay, can you type out a specific challenge? And Satya, I'll come to your question. In case of going on a consultative mode, okay, okay. I'm waiting for Vijay to type in his question, but I'm attempting to try uh, answer Satya's question, where it says, in case of going on a consultative mode, how should we propose the classes that are apt? So I'm sure Satya has an answer for this, but nevertheless, I think he wants to kind of highlight it to the entire team. Thanks, Satya, for this. One of the things what we've been recommending to do is, uh, please avoid generating an RFP for a full house. There are the moment you get into consultative mode. For example, I was with somebody else in a team, in a SP team, where we kind of discovered the strength between kindergarten to class 5 was 1300. The moment the school said that 1300, we said that, ma'am, I think it will be a good idea to start with KG to 2 and look at uh, this proposal, KG to 2, and we can further discuss if you want to extend it to class 3, 4, 5 later. So, so we did that, and somehow I also felt, along with the person who I was working with, that the principal also felt happy that we are not being excessive, and we are actually kind of suggesting KG to 2. And I also quoted why we quoted KG to 2, because KG is another one kind of a silo, and 1 and 2 is another silo, and there's a bridge between PP2 to class 1, etc., etc., and that kind of synced well. The big advantage what we have is, when we avoid coding a full house RFP, you have a unique advantage of negotiation during negotiation. So you all know that. Let's assume that we have generated a proposal for KG to class 2, and if there's a negotiation happening, we have this ability to include another class and possibly reduce the fees a little. So that is an advantage which I suggest that you guys have it to yourself. So be careful while you are, unless under the school, suppose let's assume the school is insisting that no, 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 I would like to have a full house, give me a proposal from KG to class 5. My personal opinion is, when you are giving the RFP, do not say that, ma'am, we will customize the price for you and get it. Hand over the RFP, let the principal see the published rates, which is 3,300, 2,850, 3,150. Wait for her to respond, wait for her to react. Look at her expression, see whether she's asking any questions by reading that. And if she's not asking any questions, just leave it that way and come out. So now we have a principal where, let's assume a principal in a school A has asked for a full house RFP. That no, no, you give me a proposal from KG to 5, and you have only given the published rates, and you got a signature from her. Somewhere you would have given a mental imprint of this published rates, 3,300, 2,850, and 3,150. You come back and look at what is the student strength, and you have a lot of things which you can do. You can perhaps quote, instead of quoting from KG to 5, you can quote KG to 3 and have the 200, 300 rupees leeway for buffer for negotiation. So that's my take on Satya's question. Okay, and GP also says that Fuller's RFP he says that we need to recommend classes, and that really works. I guess the moment we recommend classes, it also goes well with our consultative mode, and it also kind of conveys that that we are not here to just make business, but we are here to give them a solution. uh, Primary is the winner so far, and those schools are moving faster. So GP is of the opinion that classes 1 to 5 is moving faster, and that's a winner. Vijay is saying that budget planning month, decision making month, and other term and conditions making the principal to step back for RFP. Vijay, see, we are see the what we are trying to highlight here is we are actually facilitating her decision making process, and it is not information what we are going to have. What we are attempting to highlight there is, ma'am, if you are really interested in Think Room and if you are keen in implementing for the next academic year, I'm sure these are the important milestones what you have in your school. For example, you will have a budget planning month where you would want to sit on the financials with your school management and decide what you want to take and what you need not take. And we have put this in so that it will be a gentle reminder, and we never ever want a delayed decision and denying think room for your children. So that's the way you should we should put it. Of course, there will be exceptions. There might be some principals who might not want to fill it up, but to my understanding, you might have probably 1 out of 10 principals who might refuse to fill it up. But otherwise, I think 9 out of 10 principals actually gladly filling it up, and it's giving a lot of insights. Uh, okay. There is one from Richard. Post the video presentation, we find the schools requesting for teacher presentation. Great. Uh, if they are asking for a teacher presentation, just ask in a conversational tone. Ask her, ma'am, as a next step of progress, should we also look at a proposal, discuss that proposal with you, and also meet the teachers along? Uh, so that is one way of. In fact, if you look at the last campaign, we want to drive this. Can the proposal discussion of the principal and the teacher presentation can be on the same day, so that we can actually save one visit. Uh, if you, Richard, if you think the school is a leader school and they want a teacher presentation to be done even before a proposal is generated, please take a call. Why not? Let's do a teacher presentation, get a consensus from the teachers as well, and then generate a proposal. I leave the decision to you. Uh, GP is asking, in a school in Kamam, the school asked us to recommend, and we recommended 1 and 2, which surprised the management, and they are extremely happy with the way the discussion has gone. Super. So maybe GP is hinting the next MO is coming from Kamam. Uh, okay, and GP also saying that RFP is the best place to link early signing as a process. Yes, I would say an yes or a no. Yes is if the principal is very excited, if the principal is saying, yeah, what you have given is reasonable, and if the principal is kind of hinting on how do I take this into my school, etc. I think it's a nice context to show the early partner advantage and discuss that a little as well. Uh, and I would say a no also because if the principal is excited enough, if the principal is saying that yes, I would want to implement Think Room and give me a proposal, and you do a consultative process and recommend certain classes, go back with the proposal. While you're discussing the proposal, if you want to nudge the principal, if you want the principal to move a little, I think it would be a better time to show the early partner advantage, early signing partner advantage during the proposal discussion. Even if you're shown it during RFP, I think it makes a lot of sense to show the early partner advantage when you are actually discussing the proposal document. Yeah, I'm putting a hard stop on the questions now. I have just 10 minutes to go, and I think I have 40 slides. So I'm putting a hard stop, and let's move to the next slide. So, a very high note on the sales cards. What exactly we are looking at? The theme what you have for this campaign here, the theme what you have selected for this campaign here is rethink. So if you look at in all our sales cards, we have this rethink, and even a learn shop, we are saying that since the last 15 years of inception, we've been saying no to mediocrity in education and we've been also rethinking. So our process has always been rethink. So that's a theme. And my suggestion is, start the conversation when you're using the sales cards. Start the conversation with the rethink approach and highlight the one liner in the sales card. So the way you can pitch this rethink is, ma'am, you know that in the last 15 years of our existence, we've been always rethinking on how do we remove the mediocrity in education, and that actually motivated us. That actually made us to innovate, and that's why we have this very unique program called Crystal's Think Room, where we have rethought about every single component and challenge in the schools what faces, and then the objective of showing that the one liner, I'm sure you would have seen the one liners. We have an one liner for the studio, we have one liner for CPD, we have one liner for tech, which we displayed in the as standees in the learn shop, and it is also featuring in the sales card. The please state that one liner, in the sense, say that, ma'am, our the way we rethink is, we wanted to move away from students having test books to think books. Or say, ma'am, we've been rethinking on how do we make teachers attend professional development rather than product training. So take that one liner and give the bigger picture. The moment you give the bigger picture, you are actually elevating the principle, and you are actually painting a big picture before you get into explaining a specific component in the card. So my suggestion is, whenever you are choosing a card, show the one liner, uh, rework on the one liner and say that this is why we have this component, so that you are actually putting the bigger picture of why they have to look at studio, or why they have to look at technology, or why they have to look at CPD. The moment you say that one liner, you're actually setting the context in which you can actually explain the sales cards. So I'm quickly taking you through the sales cards. Uh, so these are some of the sales cards what you have got. Easy Vidya is now chrysalis, and we have this beautiful thing of hibiscus and butterfly. And we have 15 years of forward thinking, research and development, and what you have done. This is also another sales card we have. And we have this say no to mediocrity in education. So the other way of looking at also is, I'm suggesting this flow. You enter a school, you show the three shifts brochure, and then, ma'am, we also have the way we've been saying no to mediocrity in education is, you can show this card and say that, ma'am, we would want to highlight that there is a choice between mediocre solution and forward thinking solution, and the forward thinking solution according to us is think room. So you can also place this say no to mediocrity education right in the front before we actually get into sales card presentations. Then you have say no to mediocrity education. So if you look at that, say no to mediocrity education is being reflected in all the sales card very subtly. So that the moment you highlight say no to mediocrity in education, there is a continuity, there's a link of why we are explaining these components in the context of saying no to mediocrity in education. Okay, Kiran is asking, can you get the soft copy of sales card? Of course, I'll mail this across, Kiran, not an issue. So, for example, we have this one-liner for studios. Do your children have test books or think books? So the way you can pitch this, depending on the profile of the school, you can straight away say this, ma'am. One of the questions you've been asking all our principals is, are your children having test books or think books? Or the other way of pitching it is, ma'am, today many of the progressive principles are moving away from test books, which are textbooks, to think books. So let me tell you how many progressive principles have moved from textbooks to think books. Then show the studio component. So to my mind, this one-liner would actually elevate the principle. Uh, you are you are actually answering two questions. The most important question is why. You are answering why studios first, and then you are answering what is studio. So to my mind, this will make a huge difference the moment you say this one-liner. Okay, then we have about studios. Then we have chrysalis approach. Then four phases of thinking. Then we comes to, are your teachers provided product training or professional development? So you can actually spin a story in this by saying that, in all our partner schools and many of the schools what you've seen, we realize and discover that many of the teachers actually get trained on the product. But we believe that if you have to say no to mediocrity education, your teachers have to have professional development irrespective of what product they are using. So in Think Room, in Chrysalis Think Room, what we have done, all the CPD modules are towards the professional development of teachers and not necessarily on how to implement Think Room. So this is again a big picture you're giving, and then you're talking about CPD. And then similarly, you have, are you having wasted tech or red tech for learning? So, getting back, you show the Think Room video. Look at what is the prospect is interested, which component of Think Room the prospect is interested in, and then show this one-liner. Start a conversation with this. So you are actually answering the question of why I should look at this component in Think Room, and then you're getting into what of Think Room. Okay, Richard is asking, can you also get the soft copy of the collage press releases? Yes, Richard, it's already done. I'll be mailing it to you either today or tomorrow. Then we have, okay, I assume it's Vijay. Are we having new binder, leave behind brochure? Yes, leave behind brochure is under print, and the new binder also is under print. You will get it in another 5-6 days, Vijay. Okay, Satish, okay. So then you have, are you missing out the third teacher in your classroom? I'm sure you all know what is the first teacher and second teacher. The first teacher is the teacher itself, and the second teacher is are the students. We believe that peer learning amongst the students is the second best teacher what students experience in a think room, and the third teacher is a learning ambience. So you paint this one liner, and then you explain the think room ambience kit. And then what do you want your schools to know, be known for? Better scores of education, better scores, or better education? And then you talk about transformation. So this is what this is how I would recommend that you use the think room cards. uh, so you show the video, then you start a conversation and pull out the appropriate sales card, and start a conversation of with the one liner where you are painting the big picture of why the principal or the prospect should look at this component of think room, and then explain the think room. And then you have think room architecture, transformation architecture, and we have think room day. uh, uh, okay, let me just take all this. Okay, so I'll pause here. Okay, it's already 7. I'll pause here. Are there any specific doubts on the sales cards? Any specific doubts? Any words? Uh, I hope and I assume that you would have gone through all the sales cards. Are there any specific doubts? Any specific, like for example, somebody asked what is FGD? Similarly, are there any doubts in the sales cards? Okay, I'll just move on. Uh, I'll just move on. This is TMs, Satya, Manish, Kiran. If Ashwin is there. Hey, by the way, Ashwin is a new team who joined in Coimbatore. So I'm sure all of you guys would have seen him in the WhatsApp group. GP, uh, if possible, if you think there are certain clarity needed on the sales cards or any specific things, please collate this and send it across, and we can have a specific conversation on any particular sales card. Okay. I'm moving on to another item. To me, after every presentation, I suggest you do this. Pause and rethink. After every presentation, pause and rethink. What I want you guys to rethink on is, I'm sure if I had worked with you, I always ask, or rather bug you with these two questions. I normally ask these two questions: what went right, what could have been better. So these are two standard questions which actually work wonders for me. In the sense, uh, the moment I have a conversation with the principal, etc., I come out and ask, and some of you guys have actually given some brilliant inputs, and you've also given certain very nice things, which I didn't think it went right, but according to you, you felt that it went extremely right. Similarly, you also given a lot of inputs in terms of, sir, if you have done this, it would have been better, or why didn't you use this card, or you could have brought in ThinkPad or whatever. There are some amazing inputs. So, to my mind, uh, the moment you finish a presentation, uh, I would suggest don't rush to the next presentation. Park your bike, park your car, or wait, and just take 2 minutes, 3 minutes of your time, and rewind and ask yourself these questions: what went right and what could have been better. Believe me, believe me that these two questions, if it is asked consistently after every presentation, you will be amazed the way you actually improve on things. Um, I would also specifically want to focus on what could have been better. I find that many of us, including me, we become super enthusiastic when the principal is nodding her head, when the principal is acknowledging, when the principal is saying yes, etc. At times, we tend to not kind of provoke, not induce a conversation, in the sense that we kind of forget to kind of give a little trigger to the principal to start a conversation, and then the communication becomes more one way. To my mind, in a presentation, we should have a lot of stimuli, lot of triggers, and it should actually tickle the prospect, and the prospect should actually say few things. I'm quoting one recent example where I worked with. In fact, I worked with Harish in one of the schools. I was having a conversation with the principal. Suddenly, the principal actually blurted out a very dramatic statement. She said that, sir, actually, when I think of these things, I feel like I want to renounce this principalship post. I feel that I'm not good on this, and I want to renounce this because I'm not doing justification. So that's a kind of, and it's a very emotional response what the principal said, and that actually became an opportunity for us to actually drive home certain things. So, Harish, I'm sure you would be thinking. Uh, um, okay, Satish is also saying that I also ask what can go wrong went wrong. Satish, yeah, sometimes if I'm in a terrible mood, I also ask that. Otherwise, I don't normally ask this. Harish, don't worry, I'll also send the email. I know that I have to send the email to the principal. I'll send it across. So,
Okay.
uh, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk today. Uh, I also wanted to talk about the insight report with you guys, but it's already 7. Uh, so I don't want to, because if I start the insight report, that will take another 20 minutes and then followed by questions. Maybe we will schedule another webinar very soon. I'm not talking about next month or next week, probably this week itself, or probably early Monday, where I'll take you guys through the insight report also, so that the insight report also becomes an extremely good conversation starter and to establish the kind of work we are doing. I'll pause here. Any questions, any doubts, any clarity, any clarifications? So, Bala says, no doubts whatsoever. It's all clear. Okay. Satya is asking this very interesting question. What would be the checklist that we need to carry? That we need to carry. Uh, I'm not sure whether Satya is asking from an ASP point of view, uh, or or um, from an ASP point of view, or from a TM's point of view. To my mind, I don't want to reinvent a wheel on a checklist. For me, if anybody whatsoever wants to have a complete checklist, then the go-to person is Bala. for this. I'm saying this because I'll show you. I'll probably share a small anecdote which happened. I was working with Bala in Trichy, and we are going to one of the reputed schools in Trichy. So I was supposed to present to some principals, blah 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 blah. So I started opening my bag, and I started searching for my connector, the connector which I actually connect to the laptop to the projector. And 99% of the time, I don't search for this connector because there is a designated place for this connector. But I was searching and I was groping, and immediately Bala, I don't know whether he said this in a sarcastic tone or in a very enthusiastic tone. Bala opened his bag and he put his hand inside, took out, and he started explaining, "Sir, this is the kit, and here I have pen drive, I have torch, I have a projector, and here it is. It has a binder, it has a studio." So the way Bala's organized the entire checklist of things in his bag was amazing. In the sense, I can guarantee you, I can assure you, I can challenge you. You can tie Bala's eyes, you can make him blind, and ask him to put his hand into the bag, and he'll tell you where exactly things are. That is the kind of organizing level what he has. So, Satya, to answer your question directly and indirectly, if anybody wants to have a complete checklist that how am I physically prepared, how am I mentally prepared, and what are the things I need to carry, I would say the go-to person is Bala. And GP is asking this naughty question, boss. Uh, Okay, okay. GP, you're asking me to ask this. Okay, I thought you were asking me. So, okay, GP is asking me to play the role what I normally do. So, guys, tell me what went right in today's seminar. So, this is my question number one. What went right in today's webinar? Random responses. Okay. Richard is saying flow of the presentation, presentation flow, clarity, clarity in present. Satya is saying presentation flow, clarity. GP is saying clarity in presentation flow, which is much needed. Uh, Prem is saying more clarity in presentation flow. Okay, great. Bala saying got clear picture of infusing 3 shifts to think rooms. Okay. Uh, Waiting for name. I think it's Vijay. Got clarity on 3 shift cards. Uh, Satish easy with clarity on 3 shifts. Prem Kumar also the need for the assessment card. Apparao. Oh, that's Apparao. Hey, I think there are 2, 3 waiting for name. Yeah, that's why I'm getting confused. GP, we need to rethink on using TR video post this webinar. Uh, uh, Richard is saying still not Baticide. Baticide. Batista. Richard, I don't know whether you're typing in French. Okay, Raju is saying focus on lens 2. Okay, Richard saying sorry, baptized. Still not baptized. Okay, yeah, it will take some time, Richard. So start reflecting on these 2 questions. You will soon get baptized in the right spirit. Okay, so let me go to the next question. So, what could have been better in this webinar? I know every one of you is now eagerly typing. I know that. What could have been better? Should we have crucial set of pointers and concepts in a presentation? Satya is asking, should we have crucial set of pointers and concepts in a presentation? Fantastic idea, Satya. I'm nominating you to do this. Please do this and let's have a discussion. Oh, now nobody will ask a question, I guess. Okay, guys, what could have been better? For me personally, uh, uh, okay. Apparao is saying that. Oh, it's just vanishing. Hold on for a sec. Apar was saying that if you have only 5 to 8 minutes time with principals, what is the plan? 5 to 8 minutes principal, 5 to 8 minutes. Show the three shifts card and see whether you can squeeze in a think room video presentation, or have a general conversation on why say no to mediocrity in education and what we've been rethinking, and schedule another appointment where you get at least 15 to 20 minutes time. GP is saying that we should have added some live field insights and best practices so far. GP agreed, accused, uh, and I agree with you. I simply didn't have time to do this. Maybe it's a good idea. So we can also discuss whether we can probably collate some of the field insights and best practices and share it to the entire team. Yes, I'm waiting for someone to take this responsibility also. So somebody whom we can nominate so that we can ask them to do it. Okay. So Purnima, so you finally joined. I thought you're not going to join. Purnima says, got the clear picture and recommended presentation flow. Awesome. Okay. Waiting for name alias Aparo, says Show Boss. Okay, if there are no more questions to be asked, if there are no more thoughts on what went right and what could have been better, I'm signing off. See you guys. And what I'm looking at in the next webinar is we will conduct a webinar very soon. Uh, this webinar would actually cover insight report one, and we'll also send you the teacher presentation, and then we'll also look at having a small talk on the binder itself. So that's my schedule for the next webinar, and see you guys soon. Signing off. Bye bye.